What do you make of this, first of all?
Good morning. I suppose, like everybody on the outside, we don't have the depth of detail to make an absolute call on it. But on the outside looking in, my first impression was that this was an incredibly harsh and intrusive investigation into the police officers. But if you dig a little bit deeper into the code of ethics, which is basically just an employee handbook that anybody who has a job, a standard that they'll be held up to, then the standards are there that the police officers must attain to. And in this case, it has been judged that the officers have fallen woefully short of that standard.
The Ombudsman's office pointed out in some of the interviews yesterday that this behaviour can, specifically undermine what we hear from the PSNI a lot about their commitment to ending violence against women and girls. And, if these types of messages are being sent around groups that officers are a part of, it can undermine that message. Is that a fair point from the Ombudsman's office, do you think?
I think it is a fair point, and I wasn't expecting to make that point when I first started to investigate this particular case. The code of ethics that the officers in question have signed up to points out a whole range of areas where they're supposed to maintain the highest of standards, integrity, and equality, and the use of force and using police property. And one of the things it says that is whether on or off duty, police officers shall not behave in a way that is likely to bring discredit upon the police service. And that they're also required to live up to high standards of relationships between individual officers and their colleagues. And the more you dig into it, the more you can see that there has been a breach in the Code of Ethics. And what was quite telling, I think, for myself was that Liam Kelly of the Police Federation, and the Police Federation, for people that don't know, is essentially the police officers' trade union. The Liam Kelly of the Police Federation didn't support the officer in question either. So I think that there has been an application of the standards that police officers are required to live up to here. And on this occasion, they've failed to do it.
So how do you think the PSNI have handled this then? I mean, the statement told us yesterday that a further 3 officers have been dismissed without notice in recent months in similar circumstances, following wholly inappropriate material being shared amongst groups. So that's a total of 4. I mean, is there an issue around reputational damage here? Or will people look at how potentially swiftly this has been dealt with and say, well, the Chief Constable's been strong on this, he's taken action? Which of the two do you think it is?
I'm not sure. I'm without knowing the detail of the investigation. We don't know what the images were, so we don't have the detail, and I don't think we can make that call. What I was surprised at was the depth of investigation. So we were told that there was a digital analysis of the police officer's phone.
I suppose the question would be, Ron, has the response for you been enough to limit any sort of reputational damage that this might have brought about?
I think it has. I think it's been an incredibly robust response, and that's what I was going to say, that the fact that they took the officer's phone off and conducted a digital analysis, and it also says that he was found guilty of very highly inappropriate and offensive messages that he had sent to other members of the public. That was a man sending images on his personal phone to other members of the public. And I thought that was actually extremely strong, and that bordered on being too strong for me in that particular area. So the police have acted extremely thoroughly on this and dealt with it quite quickly.
OK, and that's the TUV Deputy Leader, Ron McDowell.